Hi, Bernth here. Welcome back to my Q&A series, where I take time to answer all your questions concerning technique, theory, gear and many more topics. Leave a comment or send me a message if you have any questions yourself. For this week, I'd like to talk about sweep picking. I got a message on Instagram this time. It says I'm searching for a teacher who can teach me the sweep basics, because YouTube doesn't actually help me. So let's talk a bit about sweep picking. By sweeping, you play single notes on consecutive strings with a sweeping motion of the pick, while using the fretting hand to produce a specific series of notes that are fast and fluid in sound. Both hands essentially perform an integral motion in unison to achieve the desired effect. Here's a fast example taken from my soon-to-be released online course 10 Steps to Modern Shredding, so you can hear what's so great about this technique. As you hear, you can play very fast with this technique and get a very fluid sound while doing so. A lot of modern shred players love to use this technique. I personally also love to use it to add some spice to lead sections played over complex cadences. With sweeping, you mostly play arpeggios, chords broken into a series of single notes. Before we can do this, we have to start with the basics. A lot of lessons on YouTube tell you to start off with small shapes. I recommend to start with a bigger arpeggio. It is hard in the beginning, but the massive advantage is that you don't have to change the direction of your sweep that much when you start learning the technique. That is the hardest part, at least for me. Here's what I recommend. You start with the classic E minor arpeggio, a fitting key for all metal shredders out there. It's located in the higher register of your fretboard, so you don't have to stretch that much. Pay close attention to my right hand. The key to success here is understanding what your right hand has to do. You don't pick every string individually, your picking hand stays locked in the sweeping position, almost like strumming a chord. The job of your left hand is to produce good sounding notes. No overlapping is allowed here. You don't want it to sound like this, for example. And you also want to practice to a metronome. Sweeping only sounds impressive when you focus on playing perfectly in time from the beginning. There's a trend going on for years now that I call fake sweeping. Maybe you've heard it before. It sounds like that. That sounds pretty terrible. As you hear, some notes are missing from the arpeggio. You only really hear the sound of the muted strings, sounding like a rake, and the notes on the high E string. With this technique, we want to be really precise and to lock in with the rest of the band. We want every note of the arpeggio to be audible. In metal, a great example is locking in with fast double bass drumming or alternate picking sections, for example. It doesn't have to be played at the speed of light to sound great. If you can pull it off in time, clean and well articulated, it will sound great at any tempo. So here's what I want you to practice in the upcoming days to conclude this episode. Start sweeping down the E minor arpeggio like in the first example. Once you practice that very slowly to a metronome, you can turn it around. After practicing these motions for a couple of days, you can slowly start to combine them. Once again, pay attention to how you sound. You don't want any overlapping notes. You want to play in time, and all the notes should have the same volume and articulation. Focus on the hammer-ons and pull-offs especially. What worked great for me is filming myself while I was practicing this. You have to focus and concentrate on both hands very hard in the beginning. By analyzing your movement and sound after your practice session, you can see what you need to work on more. Here are these 3 exercises for you. That's it for this week. Send me a message or leave a comment and I will feature your question in the next episodes. It could also be related to theory, gear, or your career as a guitar player, for example. Thanks for watching and see you soon.